out on the advanced stuff that actually makes it applicable to your athlete. Sorry about that, but that's why we're doing this stuff. So make sure you actually get it for you. But we would prefer to just screen right through this information because we have a lot. So real quick, you can hold your questions to the end. I'm happy to stick around, ask any questions, answer any questions. I know Chris is as well. So let's just get started here. I just want to get some of the formalities out right away. I'm Sean, my partner on Colorado's IVO, and that's Chris. And we've got this company called the Gait, which is those who've been following us for the last couple of years. There's just a whole bunch of free stuff on our website. We've got a blog that we write on every day, free stuff about training, theories, biomechanics, whatnot. We've got a Facebook page, obviously, who doesn't. We post everything there from the blog, so that's kind of your one-stop shop if you like. We're on Twitter, of course. And we've got a YouTube channel with 100 videos on there, a lot of training guides, how to do things. Some of the stuff that you'll hear today here will be on there eventually. And we've got podcasts that we do that's free as well. So just want you guys to know there's a lot of free information there. And all you need to do is just basically go on Google, take a look at these guys, and we've got a couple dozen pages, or a couple of pages right there. So, ready? So today's goal is to gain some information. All right, and with information is going to come some changes in the way you look at gait, the way you look at training, the way you look at biomechanics, the way you look at your athletes. And it's going to assist you in some injury and risk management. This is going to probably change for some of you the way that you think about training your athletes. I've always said that if you're doing what you did last year, you're probably going to get the same results unless you're lucky. So expand your interpretation. Now these presentations and their limitations. Okay. More information means knowledge, and that means more responsibility on your part. So you're going to leave here today with a lot of thoughts on what to do differently. At least we hope so. And that's hopefully going to nod you little by little to make you perhaps change what you're doing and maybe change the way that you're integrating some of your training into your athletes. One of my favorite quotes, if you know the way broadly, you will see it in all things. If you expand your knowledge, you're going to ask more questions. As you ask more questions, you're going to see things a little more clearly each day, each week, each month. And as you do that, you're going to start to see these things blend over into other sports and different athletes. You're going to see each athlete a little bit different. This is a picture of Megalodon. Okay? We're going to talk about one of those Olympic writers and people these days, George St. Pierre. It's very funny, he put an article in the Celebrity Photo magazine, and he talked about Megalodon, and he said that 2 million years ago, a shark far larger than a city bus went extinct, as did the American lion and the short-faced bear and several other giants. Efficiency equals output divided by input divided by output times 100. I'm not going to ask you to know a formula here. The whole point is that in fighting and in evolution and in life, efficiency is the key. The reason that he is so successful and is not lost around is that he says that I try to get smarter, I try to train harder, I have better skills, I have better endurance, I have better strength, I cross-train. And so when you do that, there's no doubt you're going to become a more efficient athlete. And when you do that, you're going to be able to compete at a higher level and probably take some other people out. So a lot of people training techniques are not efficient. Compensation patterns are not efficient. Injuries are not efficient. And on that balanced athlete is not efficient. Doing what you did last year, expecting the same results is arguably not efficient. Showing up with only 8% of your best athletes is not efficient. I've argued with coaches over the years that I would rather you show up with 100% of your athletes at 90% of their health or possible efficiency, rather than show up with 80% of your athletes at 100%. Okay, and this really goes across the country. You've got to show up with the top guys in order to compete.
Yeah, let me make a couple definitions here. Compensation pattern is a way to find an alternative way to find a way to move. So for example, if you're going to propel yourself forward, ideally your glute max is going to help push you forward. However, if that glute max is shut down for whatever reason, it could be something as minor as your neck is tilted a strange way, your spine is off a little bit. You've got to find another way to move your body forward. So what your body will do is go through, how many people remember seeing Terminator when the first one? Come on, we all saw it, you know you did. When he gets squished at the end of the first one, and then he comes back to life where the computer comes on and he finds a new way to move, and then he crawls out of there and chases the guy crawling around. That's a compensation pattern. His major muscles or major mechanics didn't work. He found another way to move. Our body does that all the time. I mean, it's something as simple as, let's say you have a hangnail on your toe, or you cut your toenail too short, or something like that. And that hurts to go through. Your body knows that that hurts. It's going to find other muscles to get around that thing that hurts. So it could be your glute, it could be your hamstring, it could be your quad, it could be a lot of different things. So what happens is when you run people a lot or they get tired, muscles shut down. So your body finds other ways to get through that workout or to do that movement. And so the key to this is eliminating the compensation patterns. Make the muscles work that are supposed to be working when you're sprinting, jumping, throwing, whatever you're doing. That's the compensation.
It's a good point. We're going to talk about this again a little bit later on. It's okay to repeat this because it's probably the heart of everything that Chris and I do. We're always looked at with a jaundiced eye as to why don't you run your runners more? And the answer is, well, we don't want to run them past fatigue because any strengthening or training we do past that is asking them to train in a fatigued state, asking them to use the system differently than it was designed to work. So we'll go over some compensation patterns. This kind of leads nicely right into the next topic. That efficiency is only there if you've got all of the parts and you're using all of the parts and all of the planes of motion. Today, Chris and I decided that we were going to focus on the frontal or coronal plane or lateral plane, sideways movement. Runners are always moving forward. They very rarely are training themselves effectively or sufficiently laterally. And unfortunately, lateral ankle stability or lateral hip stability is very important in order for forward progression because if you're spending time moving laterally, you're not spending time moving forward. If you're spending your time laterally, you're not stacking the joints anymore. I'm stacked over my foot, my knee, and my hip right now. I am not stacked right now. So if you've got someone with a foot type that tends to turn the foot out, if you've got some glute medius weakness, you can drift laterally and you can change some of the strategies that are optimal and normal, setting up a compensation pattern. Now, compensation patterns are necessary to protect. And one of the things that I will say later on here, we've said this every year we've been here, what you see in your athlete is not the problem majority of the time. I would even say all of the time, if I argue with my partner Ivo on this. What you see is what your athlete is presenting with the parts that are available to them to move. If they had all of the available parts and they could move using all of the glutes and all of the ankle stabilizers and all of the parts correctly, they would do it. They're not choosing to be ornery and difficult. They're moving into these compensations, which you guys see, and we're going to see some cases here that Chris and I have fixed, that you're seeing them use the only things that they can seem to get to, or the things that they have trained, or the things that previous coaches have trained improperly into them and embedded these compensation patterns as the new norm. And as we get older, the body tends to take note and take a diary of all of these injuries that you've had over time. And if they're not 100% resolved, you now have to figure out how to get that extra 5% somewhere else. Unfortunately, that's an efficiency reducer. And that's going to be a hole in the bottom of the bucket. So you can put more training in the top, but it would be easier just to fill the bottom. Okay, and they're little things. They are a small pinhole in the bottom, but when you put a couple of them in there, sprained ankle, a mild medial meniscal tear, throwing a concussion, maybe a broken arm that changes arm swing because opposite arm and opposite leg move together. Now you start to add a whole bunch of little pinholes, which starts to reduce the efficiency. So we're going to be talking about three things: skill. You're going to see SES a lot. We're going to pound this home. We pound this home every year we've been here. Skill, endurance, and strength. Because of the way the neurology is set up and the diameter size of the mechanoreceptors in the body, you must develop skill first, and then you develop endurance on that skill, and then you develop strength on that endurance and skill. And then you go ahead and add a new skill, add endurance and strength to that skill, add a new skill, add endurance and strength to that skill. One of the worst things you can do is just to start people on heavy mining. Start them on exercises that might be beyond their limit. You know, the old theory of no pain, no gain just doesn't work. Okay, we know that pain is a neuroinhibitor, meaning pain inhibits muscle activity and joint stability. So if your working out in pain, they're actually shutting down components. The brain is saying, that's injured, that hurt, I'm starting to unload that joint. It sets them up for another injury, but it's also another efficiency grab. Okay? So you want to make sure they're training the best skills that they can. So that means starting a little slow, starting out with simple stuff, figuring out where the tipping point is for that athlete. And they're all different. I understand that's what makes it difficult for you guys, because you've got so many people, and how do you segment it and pick and choose it? Well, you just have to kind of divide your coaches up if you can, and each practice maybe pick someone out and say, you know what, we're going to pull you out of here right now and put you into here. We just want to develop some skills so you don't get injured, so you can become faster, stronger, quicker, have better endurance, etc. So there's really a good thing behind all of this. It just requires you to ask a few more harder questions. It asks you to be a little bit more anal retentive, I guess. But, I mean, the results are going to come out in the end. And the coaches that I work with, there's a couple here today, including Chris, you guys know that when we fix an athlete fully, taking care of all the little pinholes, you don't have to train them so hard at the top. And then they just start performing naturally. You see the natural athlete come out. You're going to see a couple, 3 cases particularly. This one kid is now playing, they're all Division I now. That's right. Princeton, Ohio. So, and these guys were, you'll see the patterns. They're atrocious. And you could have trained them to your blue in the face, and they would not have gotten any faster or stronger. So, the normal gait cycle. There are normal windows of neurologic development. I'm going to whiz through this stuff because we went over this last year, but I noticed some new faces in here. And this is a condition called lunar hand syndrome. I don't care that you know that. This is a bunch of people who walk on their hands and feet. And you've probably seen them on National Geographic and PBS and some of these specials like Nova and whatnot. These people neurologically missed some developmental windows. So they had to compensate. This is a compensation pattern. They did not choose to do this. You are seeing their compensation, not their problem. I mean, it's a neurologic problem. You see a neurologic problem? No, you see a physical problem. So what we were saying before is that you see a person's compensation, you don't see their problem. Okay? And unfortunately, you guys are dealing with people who are neurodevelopmentally going through this volcano of growth. And we know orthopedically and neuroorthopedically that bones and muscles grow faster than the nervous system matures. You've got these people who are growing taller, longer, and stronger, but they're not as wired and plugged into those muscles as they can because the nervous system isn't maturing at the same rate, which puts them at more risk. Which means maybe you've got to kind of always be pulling these people back a little bit, pulling on the reins and saying, let's spend a little bit more time in skill because you're going through a growth spurt here. You grew 3 inches over the summer break. Let's just back you up here so you don't sprain an ankle or blow out a knee. And these are the lanky people you see that just can't. They look horrible on the courts, they look horrible on the track, and they just need some coordination. You can force it all you want, but until the nervous system has myelinated and laid down all of this new myelin that conducts faster nerve impulses, there's nothing you can do. You can't force it. So you keep them in this nice little happy, safe place, do the best that you can, and don't train them into compensation. So if you force them too hard while they're neurodevelopmentally maturing, you're going to get a compensation pattern. They can only do what they can do. It's like a governor on their gas pedal.
You guys, from a coaching perspective, I know it's hard to pick kids out and say, you know, how do you feel? This is what I do, is I ask kids how they feel. And my philosophy is kids aren't trying to get out of workouts, they want to work out more. And I know some people have a really hard time with it because you set out your mesocycles and your microcycles and you've got the whole year planned out and you're building mileage and all this stuff. And if you miss this day, it's going to throw off my mileage totals and then my whole math gets screwed up for the entire year, and what am I going to do? But if I see a kid that doesn't look good that day, I'll ask him how he feels. He says, I just feel okay. Well, you're done. Go home. I know they want to run. It's trash. They're there to run. They really want to train. They really want to do well. But if you're not helping them and you're just trying to accomplish what you have down on paper for the whole team, I think you're really doing a disservice to your athlete. You're not giving them their best potential to succeed. I mean, I got away one year with a kid who placed and came home with 4 medals at the state meet, 100, 200, 4x1, 4x2. He trained 1 day a week. That was it. And he ran 3 fly 30s. That was his workout. That's all I did with him in the